The fifth element of public speaking is I, interact. Yes. Well, I'm sure you have already a lot of things in your mind with the interaction word because, yes, public speaking means interaction. And the more interactive you make it, the better it is, right? But now, how do you interact with people is the question here. So if you look at the slide here, we talk about you at the top there and people down there, right? In between, there are three E's. So it's called the 3E formula, which means entice, engage, and educate. So anything that you want to talk about in public speaking, the first thing you have to do is entice, attract them, right? What is it that you attract them with? We will see that in the next slide, right? So you first have to entice them, grab their attention. You have already done the homework about who the audience is, what is their motive. Now, when you know both of these, the presentation you make, either it's a PowerPoint slide or nothing, it's just you speaking, it is important that you attract the audience in the first few minutes of the session. It's actually said you have to attract them within 5 minutes of the session, but I will not talk specifically 5 minutes here because we are talking about speaking in the canteen, speaking in a meeting, speaking on the stage in front of public, or any group discussions that you may have during an interview, or any other group discussions, um, any project-related discussions, appraisal discussions, right? College meets, anything for that matter. Okay, so there will be many places where you will need to interact and talk to people, but if there comes a situation where you have to lead and you will be the one that people are looking up to for speaking, don't find yourself lost, right? The first thing that you need to do is build the rapport by attracting them and picking up a topic. Now, let's say the topic is already given to you. If you do not know what to talk, start with asking. Maybe that's something you could do. Okay, for example, let's say you are in a town hall meeting in your company and you're suddenly asked to stand up and speak to everyone about the project that you are doing, right? Speak about your opinion about the project you're working on. Now, the first thing that comes to your mind is, oh my God, what am I supposed to speak? Well, it's good. And what happens is you just say it. You stand there and you're like, hi, everyone. Good evening. My name is this, and the project is good. And then you're lost. You get my point? Neither have you attracted the audience, nor have you engaged them or told them what's happening. Right? So now you do not know what to do. What do you speak? Maybe you could start like, give your introduction and tell them what is the project you're working in. That is when they will be attracted. That is when, because there will be other teams in a town hall. No, not everyone will know what you're working on or who you are. Introduce yourself, introduce your project, and then ask questions. Ask questions, simple. If you don't know what to talk about, ask them. Ask them, what is it that they know about this project? Let them speak. When the audience speaks, number one, they get attracted and they are getting engaged in the process of conversation. And you are also getting ideas about what you want to speak. You get my point? That's how you can always start, right? We also have other relevant things that I'll talk to you in a little later. Okay, so first thing is you attracting the audience. The second thing is engage them. Now that you have gained their confidence, The second thing you do is engage them. Engage them with a lot more interaction. Ask questions, polls, or like the audience polls, right? Laugh with them, talk to them, discuss with them, call their names, make it interesting. Yeah, again, there's one thing that I mentioned earlier as well. Make it relevant to them. The language you speak, the presentation you give, the and of course the way you speak, all of it will depend on it basically will definitely depend on the audience, but yes, the way you do all of it will depend on how engaged your audience will be with you. Don't leave them alone just for you to speak. It's, remember, the art of giving. You're here to speak what they want to know, not what you want to share, right? Do it that way, change the perspective, and see the audience will be engaged, giving you the extra confidence that you need to speak and communicate with them. Right? Now the third thing will be educate. Now that the audience is all ears and looking up to you to speak, and now this is when you will educate them about the project. Right? So you've introduced yourself, you've introduced the project you're working in, then you engage them with questions like, what do you know about the project? What are your projects that you guys are working on? And do you think it is similar? Do you know which floor we sit in? Okay. Any of you here, apart from my team members, can you always tell me, have you ever worked in this kind of project? Talk about these things, ask questions. Once the questions are over and you think like 3, 4, few questions and the audience is all charged up, then you will start talking about your project. That is educating, right? This is how you will basically attract the students, the audience, and interact with them. It's very, very important that any session that you do is interactive. Only then they will be able to understand you better, and that is the value add you give them. You should make that difference, right? Even if the topic is not very new, you have to make it new, you have to make it unique, and therefore you need to interact to understand where they stand and where they want to be. The next session is the last element of public speaking, and that will be context. See you there in a minute.